Soft, floofy cloth? Does this mean more Dodge Charger? Romance! Hey everybody, it's Fox from modelmaking.guru here. Hello and welcome. Yes, it's time for a new Partwork series. Now, you know that I'm doing the Fanhome Dodge Charger and you know that I'm doing the D'Agostini X-Wing. Well, now I'm also doing the Fanhome Iron Man, and apologies for the light there shining on the magazine, it's the overhead lights. I'm doing the Fanhome Iron Man. Yes, a massive, awesome 1/8 scale, 60 centimetre tall, 52 points of articulation, includes lighting, model of the Mark III Armour that we all know and love. Now, before you get going, you might be asking, who are Fanhome? Well, here's a quick video. There you go, fanhome.com. It's always worth keeping an eye on it. Even if there's nothing there that tickles your fancy right now, you never know what will pop on there in the coming months and years. All kinds of good stuff, so keep an eye on it. Anyway, let's crack on. Now, before we do get going, I do need to explain that the good folks at Fanhome are sending me this Partwork free of charge. They're very kindly giving me this Partwork so I can film it, so big thank you to them. Now, they sent me issues 1 and 2 in the first pack. Today, we're just going to look at issue 1. I've got issue 2 and the bits that come with it over to the side, but I'll go through everything else that you get in the box because you get issue 1 and 2 together. Now, first of all, I'll just move this out of the way. We do get, of course, the magazine, issue 1, which we'll go through in a minute. We also get this very nice open-out flyer, which gives you a lot more information, which I can't show on screen because it opens out all the way. A lot more information on the Partwork we're going to be doing. I am Iron Man. I can't do a Tony Stark voice. It's fully jointed, 52 parts, 52 points of articulation, lit all over the place. It looks beautiful. It's got this beautiful candy finish. It's going to be fantastic. Lots of information here. If you're a premium subscriber, you can get this lovely base as well. And what else do we have? I can't really show you everything because it's so big. See if I can fold it the other way. Oh, hang on, I'm folding. It gives you a list of the extras you get. If you're a subscriber to the Partwork, you get this awesome cap, an Iron Man backpack, a power bank, and a rather cool t-shirt with the arc reactor on there, which I quite like that. So if I ever do a piece to camera for this Partwork, I'll be wearing that t-shirt. So I expect those to turn up in the coming months. So you get those as part of your subscription. And of course, you get the magazines each month, which are going to give you a lot of backstory into not just Iron Man, but I suspect the whole MCU and all the other bits and bobs that go with it, as well as the instructions to build it. And you do, of course, get this fantastic Iron Man poster, which I can't show you on screen because it's far too big, but yeah, put it on your wall. It's very nice. It's a big poster of this Partwork, not of just a generic Iron Man image. So that's folding a map. All these Partworks, it's like folding maps. It never ends well. I don't know. Now, we also get with this one a pack of 4 little batteries, CR1025 batteries. Awesome sauce. There's going to be lighting in this, isn't there? And you know what I'm like with lighting. It's not going to end well. So expect all kinds of jump cuts and edits. We get the standard Fanhome little, hard to unfold and refold brochure, which explains what Fanhome is, all the different Partworks that they do. Like I said, there's probably a lot more to come in the future, so don't assume what's on there right now is everything. There'll be a lot more to come. A bit more information about Fanhome. And then we get the bits themselves. Look at the size of that. Yeah, metal and ABS. So some of these parts are actually solid metal, so I'll be having a look at those when we get going. So let's have a quick look at the magazine. Now, I have to admit, yeah, I'm going to admit this. You know, a bit like with the Fast and Furious, where I've never actually watched the films. I've watched the MCU movies, but that's it. I'm not a big comic book reader, so I know. Obviously, I know the comics and everything. I don't know the lore inside out. So yeah, my entire knowledge is the MCU movies that I've watched very quickly. So yeah, I'm going to be learning as we go along. I shall. I did like the movies though, because I've never been into Marvel comics that much, and I was more DC man myself. But I watched the movies and actually binge watch a chunk of them. And they were actually, I really enjoyed them. I really did enjoy them. All the Iron Man movies, all the other ones, the Avengers and stuff, they were really good. So I'll have to re-watch them now and re-binge them just to remind myself of all the stuff. But they were really good. My eyes were open. The scales fell from my eyes. So yes, this might create a love of the comics in me. You never know. We'll see. So yes, it starts off in the first issue here with a bit of an origin story, but it's looking at the movie's origin story, which of course sees Tony Stark as a prisoner in Afghanistan. He's a weapons manufacturer, and how he builds the Mark 1 and then Mark 2 and then Mark 3 armour. Bit of an origin story. Then we also go into the buildy part, of course, which is the important bit. And in this issue, we're going to be building the Bonce. Chris at Gross Models, who's also building this, has told me he's really looking forward to me building this bit and doing all the lighting. That never instills me with confidence. If you watch my live stream where I did the X-Wing the other day, yeah, me and lighting and wiring. Going to be interesting. And then we have a bit more information about this. In this part, the comic book side of it, the battle between Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane. Yes. So there we go. So that's some of the blurb there. You'll see how I very quickly sort of glommed past all the lore stuff that I don't know that much about. I hope this will be a learning experience for me, because I'm reading the magazines as I get them, of course. As I have seen the movie, so hopefully we'll learn some interesting stuff. Anyway, enough waffle. We've got probably going to be like an hour and a half of me fiddling around with wiring and getting it wrong to do yet. So I'll go and get all these bits out of the box, and we'll start the buildy. Back in a moment. Okay, so let's crack on with step one. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that piece. It's a solid metal, and it's beautifully painted. That is lovely. That is lovely. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to look fantastic when it's done. Now, there is going to be lighting in this, so yeah, expect this to be like a 3.5 hour long episode. Now, what I've got ready, I've got the screwdriver that comes with the set. And as you can see, it's like a really nice screwdriver compared to the one you get in the Dodge Charger, which is a simple plastic one. This one's got a spinny top, it's all metal, it's got this cool candy red colour scheme, and it is magnetic. I've got that screwdriver. I'll stick with this one for this episode. I might go for my own screwdriver for them from then on, or I might stick with this one. It seems quite nice. I've got a standard plastic sorting tray for all my screws. I've got loads of these lying around. I do have, because some of these screws are going into metal, I have my oil ready, because I like to put a little touch of oil on the screw just to make it go easier into the metal. We've got all the bits and bobs ready, and we've got one battery which we will need. So let's crack on. Let's see how badly I can do this. So step one, position the support post 1H inside the body of the helmet 1C and fix with 2 EM screws. I don't know why they bother labelling them, as they're not actually labelled on the thing, I don't think. Let's get this in. So we need to put this in here. It doesn't appear to be chiral as far as I can see. Just sits in there, and it wants 2 EM screws. So I'll get my oil ready, because these are going into metal. Now, you don't have to do this oil bit. It's just something I picked up on when I was studying up on some of the Partworks. Some people like to do the oil just so that when screws go into metal, it's a little easier. So EM screw, which is there. I'm going to get 2 of these ready on my little floofy mat. Now, the reason I've got this little floofy mat down is probably fairly obvious. It's just purely so I don't do any damage to any of the paintwork. It's probably nice and hardy and hardcore anyway, but just to be safe, I'm going to make sure I try as little as possible to scrape any of the paintwork, because the metal parts, I've got the proper coated paint on them. Plastic parts, I don't know how that's been done, but there's always a slim chance that I'll scrape it. That's why I've also taken all my rings and stuff off, just because I don't need to unnecessarily add lots of scrape it on nonsense. So that's in there. Should be nice and firm, matron. As always, what I'm doing is I'm putting one screw in, then the other screw, but not tightening them all the way, and then I can both tighten them once they're both in to make sure it's all balanced out. There's no uneven pressure. That is in, I think. The LED assembly, straight in with the lighting. What are you trying to do to me? Oh. The LED assembly comprises the battery case, 2 LEDs for the visor and part of the switch. Place the assembly, 1G, with the hole in the battery case facing outwards and fix in place with an EM screw. So let's get this discombobulated. All tangulated into a big mess. So let's get this open. So we have here, let's see, what do we got? What do we have? We have many wires, all of which are confusing each other. Oh wow, they're all tangled up. Wow. Give me a Gordian knot to start with. It's always a good challenge. This should apparently not be in such a mess. How does this separate out then? It's all like linked together. Okay. Right, so there we have this device here, the battery holder and the wires. So should be LED and LED on one side and then switch on the other like that. Maybe like that, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, because we need to get this in there with the hole in the battery case facing outwards. So it's going to go in because that's where the battery case sticks out. That's going to go in like that. You see, like there. Because the battery will go in there. You'll be able to access the top of the head via the plate with the magnet on it. Facing outwards and fix in place with 1 EM screw. Let me get 1 screw ready before I start messing about and I position everything. So this needs to sit in there. The wires aren't helping. Not helping. Now apologies if all you see is the back of my hand. It may be the way forward. So that's in place there roughly. Get 1 EM screw. I can get it to sit on the screwdriver properly. No, we'll just let go of that. There we go. There's going to be battles. I can see this. There may be fighting ahead. Touch of oil because it's metal into metal. Yes, apparently the oil thing is just purely so that when you're putting screws into metal, they just have an easier time going in. You're not fighting with each screw to get it in place. So I don't see there's any harm in it, and if it helps, it helps. So that's the battery case in there. Now I know when Chris built his, he has some, I'll say that again in English, when Chris built his, he had some line-up issues with this, not lining up quite right, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Fit the visor base into the main body of the helmet. It has 2 tabs that will fit in place with gentle pressure. Let's get the visor tab. Where's my tweezers? That's there. Is it this one? Yes. This should fit in place. Mit the gentle pressure, ja, das ist richtig. I go this way. Get it in there without getting finger jam all over it. I suspect there may be fiddliness with this build, but hopefully it won't be anything too complicated. I mean, I know I'm useless at lighting electrics, but it's just probably a good thing to say right at the start. Is it going from the front or from the... Oh, is it going from the front? Oh, you spoon fox. It doesn't actually... Because it doesn't show you which way to put it in. It just shows it in place. I'm thinking, is it going from the back or from the front? No, it's kind of obviously from the front. There we go. That was incredibly simple. Looks like a stormtrooper. Right. Place the LEDs in the holes of the LED support as shown above. LED support is here. That's not a good sign then, is it, for the build going forward if I'm just that useless at that point. So LEDs into the holes of the LED support. See if we can untangle these a bit before we do that though. Does that need to come out from under there or does it need to... I want to get these wires twisted around everywhere, but I don't know if they're twisted or not. It needs to come out from there. There we go. There we go. That's a bit better. Untwist those a little bit. There we go. Right, so into the holes of the LED support. They fit from behind with a gentle pressure. Go like that once. Now it does seem to suggest they are this way around. And that way round. Now, gentle pressure. Like a glove. Chris is on about this is easy peasy so far. Yeah, I've just tempted the wrath of the whatever from high atop the thing, but never mind, moving on. Fix the LED support 1E inside the helmet with 2 EM screws. So you've got 2 holes there. It needs to go into that plate there. Need to make sure the wires aren't getting in the way. That's going to sit there and hold the clear piece in place. Let's get visualizers. Apologies if it's in all the wrong angle and you can't see any of this. That sits down there, ooh, like a glove. 2 more EM screws, was it? EM. My arms over the words, I can't read them. EM screw, there we go. 2 more EM screws, or 1. Oh, it stayed in place, cool. Nice, touch of oil. It really is just the tiniest amount of oil. And if you're wondering what oil it is, it's just bog standard 3-in-1 oil. Like any 3-in-1 oil. I've got it in my Amazon store. Link in the description below the video if you want to get some for yourself. I've also put links in the description below for this Partwork. It's just fanhome.com. But do check it out. Yes, if you want to pick up this oil, then go to the Amazon link below. I've got UK, US and Canada stores. So that is in. Should hold the LEDs in place and will also keep the visor, front visor, locked into place. There we go. That looks pretty stable, I think. Next page. Unlock the camera. Place the helmet. Okay, put that over to one side. Yeah, you can see why I'm using this cloth. I don't want to scratch this paintwork. Given that I'm hand-fisted and chud-fingered, yeah, I don't want to scratch anything. Take the base plate. And we need the helmet support, which is this puppy here. With 3 AP screws. These are plastic screws now, so I don't need to worry about oil. Need 3 AP screws. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That sits like that. This goes on like 2 on this side and 1. There's 3 pegs there. Quite easy, quite steady, quite simple to figure out. No oil. Wow, hello words. No oil for this one because it's Start again, Dick Whittington. No oil for this one because it's purely plastic. We're screwing into, so we don't need to worry about it. One of those. Again, I'm not doing them all the way tight because I don't want to stress one side over another side. Just go through and put them in one by one. With my usual shaky hand, terrible screwing technique, which I like to call Chudley technique. This microfiber cloth, by the way, is also available in my Amazon store, although I would recommend maybe a big one as well. This is the Fantastic Fur from Dodo Juice, but there are bigger ones you can get as well if you've got a big model. Once the Dodge Charger gets really big. Now you need to make sure this is screwed in firmly because this is going to support the neck on the torso, so you need to make sure this is well screwed in. There we go, that's that bit. Place the assembly into the helmet base, part 1, and fix the parts together with 2 EM screws. This goes here. No, it doesn't. It goes into that piece. And it goes in like... That's 2 screw bars there. That sits on... Visor down so I can see. Not, there we go, that's lined in. Or lined up even. That sits like that. And we need 2 EM screws. EM screws made to make things tighter. Beg your pardon. Yeah, so big massive thanks to the guys that pick it up from there, you fool. I've got a magnetic screwdriver here and I'm trying to pick it out of the towel with my fingers. I'm special. Touch of oil because it's metal to metal. And then drop the screw. Fantastic. Yes, it's a magnetic screwdriver, which is good. Don't tighten it all the way. I need to touch a little glue. What am I talking about? Oil. Umblage. Put my visor down so I can actually see. That might be helpful, mightn't it? There we go. It's in. And we can tighten these up now they're both in, we can tighten them up all the way. It's a very tight fit, this one. Good job I did the oil, because these are very tight. Now I do like this screwdriver, but I am finding the shiny paint job a little bit slippy. I may have to switch to my own screwdriver. Also, the head on it is about the right size, but only just. It's a little tiny bit big for these little EMs. So that should be in. I might go for my own screwdriver with a slightly smaller size. That's those two in. Next, fit the switch part 1L into the right earpiece. Part 1L. Let me just get those parts. And apologies for the massive jump cut there. I had to go and answer the front door. Rude, knocking on the door when I'm filming. I don't know. Anyway, fit the switch into the right earpiece. Now, if you're not sure which is which, the right earpiece is the one that doesn't have a dirty great magnet in it. I think that's a magnet. I'm guessing it's a magnet. It's the one without that. It says it fits into a groove in 1K, and post must be at the top of the switch. So there's a little. It's got like a little. It's more like a D shape, and that has a D shape, and that fits in like. Oops. That, and then falls off. Fits in. Yes, it's got a D-shaped hole and the D-shaped peg, so it's not going to go in any other way than that. Not going to stay. I thought it might stay on by itself, but it's not. You have to put a screw in there, I think. So we need a BP screw. BP screw, of course, is plastic, so I don't need to worry about oil. Very gently. Very gently. Not forcing anything. Seems to be on. Got a slight angle to it. I'm sure that's not meant to be like that, but we'll find out when the switch doesn't work or does work. Either way, we can always discombobulate if we need to. Okay, it's on. Insert assemble parts 1K and 1L into the slot of 1L as shown, with the position of the post on 1L towards the base. There's also 1Ms and 1Ls and everything else. With the post towards the base plate. So this post goes into that little recess there. It slots on like that. There we go. Oh, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Doesn't matter if it's not quite straight. There we go. So that sits on there like that. Now the fiddly bit. Fix the part of the switch from the LED assembly onto the base plate 1M with a BP screw. Let's get a BP screw ready. BP screw. Right, now this is where it gets tricky because we've got to manhandle things now. This is where you realise you've got the camera in just the wrong place. So, this needs to somehow stretch beyond its length. That needs to go in like... I've got the camera on... I know I've got the camera on the wrong side here, haven't I? It's typical. That needs to go in this way. Or is it that way? That way round. Okay, with a screw, with a BP screw in that little bit there. So this sits in somehow. Somehow. This wire doesn't seem long enough. Have I got it trapped somewhere, perhaps? See if I can separate these wires a bit more. Give myself some leeway. There we go. That's better. A lot of electrical wires, they're like two different colour wires. You can pair them apart a little bit. It's a bit better. Right, so we can put that in there. Hopefully, this will now fit a bit better. We'll get the screw ready. Goes into that hole there. I can do this! I can do this! That goes into the hole. That fits there. That hole. Oops, nearly. Right, you go. Ping. Goes. Which hole does this go into? I'm confused. Right, that goes in there. Okay, right, there's a peg on there. I got it. I get you. Let me get the screw ready on the screwdriver. Biddy bid biddy biddy doo. Screwdriver's ready there. Peg and thole. We can get the tweezers in to just position it ever so slightly. Now this is the switch that will basically turn on the head lights. Quite literally the headlights. As in the lights in the head. Right, that sits there. We got it. I think we're in. I set my fingers covering it now. Oh, fudge. I've got it in place, but my fat finger's in the way now. Right, there we go. That's not in. No, we don't. Yes, we do. No, we don't. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. I can get this in. Wow, this is fiddly, isn't it? We're in. We're in. I think. Yes. I hope you saw some of that. Probably did. I bet that was all off camera, wasn't it? Because the centre point's here, Fox. I'm doing it here. I do apologise. I'm doing it down there like a chud. Yeah, so that needs to sit down there like that. This needs to screw in a bit more. So now in, we have very small. I don't know if you can see it. Very small contact switch. Not sure how that's going to work. I'm sure it will. Cool, I like that. Like a little bimetallic strip, but okay, there's actually a tiny gap between the two metal strips. When you flip the switch, it contacts them, but it's like, we're talking like 0.5 millimeter, something like that. Quite impressive, most impressive. Just the one screw. Yes, there we go. It does show slightly bigger gap in the actual photograph. If I do find that perhaps, maybe I need to widen that. If I do find perhaps that the lights are on permanently, it might be worth widening there, so I might do that now. Just bend that little strip a little bit, just so there's a nice decent gap. And then when I put them together, of course, it pushes the two bits together. But as long as there's a gap there when it's not on, that's the main bit. There we go, that's better. The photograph in the magazine shows them quite far apart. So, right, bring together the two parts, assemble the stages 2 and 3. Now this is where Chris had some problems when he did his, because he had some line-up issues. So this is in there. He had an issue specifically with this hole and the screw lining up into that hole. We'll do that one first. I can just about see down there, so let me just, there is a little tiny bit of play in that rod, in that post, you see. If I can move it a little bit. See, I've got the advantage that I watched Chris do it. Yeah. We're going to need 3 EM screws, I think. EM screws. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I appreciate this may not have been the best camera angle. Perhaps. Do this one first. Metal into metal, remember, so a little bit of oily oil. So hopefully we'll go in okay. Nope. Nope, not at all. Seems I'm going to have the same problem as Chris, I think. With it not lining up well. I know, Padon, I can't let go of that, you see, that's the problem. As soon as I let go of the base plate, it wiggles. Things move. Might be better. Once I get the screw, there we go, I think. Once I get the screw into the rod and inside, it might just a case then of it'll push itself into place, I hope. I need a bit more work on that. These two, which go there. Hopefully. Watch now as one of the screws isn't lined up. Touching oil. That goes that one. I'm going to have to use my own screwdriver, I think. It's a very nice screwdriver, but I'm finding it head's just not quite small enough for those other two screws. This one. I just don't want to risk, like, shearing off a screw head, knackering the cross head on it. Okay, now these two screws here, I was panicking because they weren't exactly horizontal, but the actual bit they screw into the panel is actually slightly chamfered, so they do go at a slight angle. Don't panic if they're not completely horizontal. Now, this has all gone well so far, yet that doesn't mean anything. So we've got a switch there. Don't know whether that's on or off. Doesn't specifically click into place. I assume on is... We'll figure out when we put the electrics in. Put a battery sideways into the socket, noting the orientation plus minus. To make insertion easier, use a pair of tweezers to move the spring aside. Fix the battery cover in place with an EP screw. Right, so we need to put the battery in. We have here a battery. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a glove on for this because... purely because getting hand jam on these little batteries doesn't do any harm, but it can affect how well they connect their electrical contact. Okay, so gloves on. Let's get this little battery out. I hate this kind of packaging where there's no easy way to get into packaging. Oh, there we go. Apart from that, okay. I'll let them off. I'll let them off. Right. Some instructions on the back. Wipe the cell with dry cloth and insert with plus. Yeah, use finger stacks or non-metallic tweezers. You can't do that. I'm not going to touch the battery. Rub on the towel. So this needs to go in here, noting the positive and negative. The negative needs to be on this side, positive on that side. Positive, of course, is the flat side here. Negative is the truddy bit there. So let me carefully, without touching the battery. That's it, so sticky. I haven't got non-metallic tweezers, I'm afraid. I've got a squishy thing from my iPhone there. Ah, look! Looks a little gormless. One of those bulbs seems to have dropped down a little bit, but that could just be me. I'm sure with the diffuser plate on top, that'll look rather fantastic. Right, so that works. Before we do that, I'm just going to have a quick look. We do have this piece that goes over the top, so I'm just going to put that on there just to see what it looks like. Yes, look at that. Oh, no, the switch is stuck. Hang on. Oh. Come on, out you come. There we go. Ready? Do it on camera, dear. Perfect. Yes, Chris, I don't know about this. Was dead easy. It wasn't that hard. Oh, you're going to have problems with the lights. Then again, I had the advantage of watching Chris's thing, didn't I suppose? So I can't really... Yeah, shut up, Fox. Right. Let's put the cover on, the battery cover, which is here. Now that goes on there. Oops. Goes on here like this, you see? Like that. An EP screw, because it's plastic. So plastic into plastic. The screws are all labelled like A, P, M. I mean AP, BP, AM, BM. P screws are for plastic and M screws are for metal. So you know whether I need to use oil or not. And I think this screwdriver is a little tiny bit too... I can't do it with gloves on for a start. Right, pick this thing up. There we go. A tiny bit too big for these little tiny screws. I'm finding just a little tiny bit. I will be using my own. In fact, I'm going to use my own now. Because that screwdriver bit is just a tiny bit too big. So let me get mine out. Now mine's a big honking screwdriver, but it has some tiny heads on it. Of course, there's the screw. There it is. Smaller, a bit more manageable. There we go. Ooh, stop it. Stop it. Go in there. Kind of handy. It makes the battery nice and easy to replace, just with a simple screw. Not a problem at all. And the reality of this is, of course, like most of these things where you get like lighting and stuff, in reality, once it's actually built and assembled, you never turn the lights on anyway. That's the thing, apart from when you want to show it to someone. For the majority of these things, you turn it on once and that's it. Right, put the left earpiece in place, which fastens with a magnet. A magnets are so cool. Ready? Wow, that's quite a powerful grip. That sits in like that. So this is on there like that. A bit not quite straight. I might have to tighten it up a little bit, maybe. I can always take it apart again and tighten it. That's on there like that. We have a diffuser. I forgot the diffuser, didn't I? Fix the visor, even not the diffuser. Visor. Into the mask. With an EM screw. Oh, okay. That goes into the mask. Yeah, getting excited now. There we go. All the way home. I think we are on. Tiny touch of oil because I don't want to get lots of oil on the visor. Much easier with a touch of oil on it. Hang on. Missing a component here. I've got a component left over. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There is a component. I've missed something out. If I can pick it up. There's a component left. Let's see what this is. What have I forgotten now? I've forgotten. Oh, I've not put that. Oh, it's on the faceplate. There we go. I've missed something. The B. EM screw. Another EM screw. Ah, this piece out. I suddenly looked over the side and I'm like, wait a minute, what's that? This bit needs to go here. Like. No. Like. Oh. Oh, like that. Okay. That bit sits on there. I think. Is it? It's in there like that. Not sure what this bit's meant to do. Oh, hang on. Right screw. Did I get the right screw? I don't think I've got the right screw. Hang on a minute. It wouldn't be me if it wasn't some slight fumblage. There we go. Took the oil. And in. And not on camera. Next time we do this, I'll remember where the camera is. It might be a good start, mightn't it? There we go. That should now. It just should be a little thing that holds it and just sits in place. There we go. I think. Just kind of latches it in place a little bit so it's not likely to fall off. And there we have it, the final assembled head. Apologies for all the faffing about there. Yes, that is beautiful. I'm loving that. That is fantastic. And it weighs a fair bit, so this whole thing's going to be quite weighty. Yes, anyway, that's going to do us for this episode. So just remains for me to say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And of course, if you'd like to help support this channel, you can do. You can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru and become a patron, or you can just click the join button at the bottom of any one of my videos to become a channel member. Either way, you get access to content a week in advance, advert-free and some exclusive content. And you also literally, and I mean quite literally, put food on my table because I do this for a living. So big, massive thank you to all my patrons and channel members. If you'd like to keep this channel alive, please consider becoming one. Also, of course, big massive thanks to the guys at Fanhome for providing this partwork. I look forward to building all of this over the coming, I guess, year and a half, 2 years. And don't forget to go and check out fanhome.com and see if you'd like to pick this up yourself or one of their other partworks. They're all amazingly awesome. Turn that off just to save batteries. So until next time, take care of yourselves, go make something awesome, go be awesome, and until next time, adios amoebas.